Mohammed is one of those guys who always does well in school but complains that he isn't doing well enough. Right on. He's a good guy to drink with. We share our taste in scotch. But you have to know when to say when. Mohammed is known as Muhammad Ali because he's gotten into more than a couple fights downtown. However, unlike his namesake, he usually ends up getting knocked on his ass. Abdullah Jawaz is another guy who likes to hit Pacifico, have a few drinks, hit the dance floor. As someone said, he can stay out late, come to early class, and take really good notes without actually knowing what's going on. which would make him like about half the students in the class. Simon Wallard is on the varsity swim team, which I salute. That's a big commitment. Everyone had good things to say about him, except for the fact that he makes for a tough conversation. Apparently he puts up some kind of raise which can make the most mundane interaction incredibly awkward. And I'm not talking about awkward like the conversation-killing comments that Jamie can throw in. To put it in terms you guys would understand, Jamie awkward is like your dad walking in on you when you're sitting on the couch watching porn. Simon awkward is when your dad walks in on you and says, "Move over."
Hey Duncan, do you want a videotape for a while? Hey Isaac, do you want a videotape?
Chris Arsenault is a good friend of Simon's. He may be a little too convinced of his own genius. He makes some easy prey for a prank where he thought he was being chosen as the best co-op student. What really bugs me about Chris, besides his voice, is the comments he makes to Bryce about Bryce's mom. Maybe I'm old school, but if Chris said that I should tell my mom she hurt his back last night, I would beat his scrawny ass down. You don't say that kind of thing unless you're ready to go. Do you do it to Bryce just because he's a Nancy boy? They call him Nancy for some reason, I don't know. Because that's not fair. Lastly, I hear that Chris was heard to exclaim at a poker game, "No one tells me what to do, except for my dad." Wow, that is badass.
Oh my God, thanks, Gamer.
In fairness, though, you know, I have a son, and I know that one of the greatest challenges all along the way is to guide him while giving him more and more freedom to eventually facilitate his complete emancipation. And when you're in university, you're in a penumbral state because you have a lot of liberty, yet your parents are probably still helping you out financially. So it could be that Chris was just making the point that there can't ever be a true and complete independence that isn't also full economic independence. Or he may just be a huge pussy. Leyland Miller is someone I've heard described as stubborn. And there were several people that fit this bill. Leyland, Aaron, Sean Sobey. People about whom people said things like, he or she will argue about anything. Will never admit they're wrong. Don't even start up with them. Now this is fine as far as it goes. But if everyone is saying this about you, it might just be that you're a dick. Devin O'Malley's a great guy. They call him McLovin, and I think he's okay with that. Apparently he got drunk exactly once at St. FX and hasn't touched alcohol since. A half ounce of rum mixed with Coke, and he was sick for days. Devin fits the stereotype of the overachieving science or engineering student. He's usually in bed by 10. He doesn't answer phone calls if he doesn't recognize the number because they're a distraction. And he often has an assignment done the day after it is assigned. As for that last one, it's okay to do it. You just don't have to let everyone know that you're doing it, Devin. Or that you've done it. There's a little experiment going on in the design course. Dr. Hewitt thought, let's take the smartest kid in the class and put him with Handy and see what happens. email to assure me that Hani is pulling his weight in the design group and that I shouldn't include any barbs about that in the roast, which I thought was a really nice thing to do. And I won't say anything about your design group. And I think that Devin will one day be an awesome boss to work for, judging by the way he looks out for his people. And now that my speech is ground to a halt, I'll get back to kicking Hani. Hani gets a bad reputation with other students because he seems stressed all the time and he whines constantly. Nothing's fair, nothing's going my way. He'll say things like, "This is impossible, I'll never be able to make this work. There's nothing that can be done." And someone will point out, "Look, Hani, we've got a couple of weeks before this is due. Maybe if you settle in and work really hard, you can get this done." And Hani will reply, "Like I said, this is impossible. There's nothing that can be done." Everyone knows in the hours before a test, you have to stay out of the Hani danger zone. If you're anywhere within 100 meters of the library, Hani will hunt you down and try to get you to teach him the course in 2 hours. Of course, Hani gets a bad reputation with the professors because he misses 3 weeks of classes and then comes in and asks ridiculous questions. Hani was particularly affected by that final that I gave in reaction engineering that you were all booing about a few minutes ago. He was so affected that he took the course again last fall. After taking the second final, he went out and got drunk with Nawaf and then crashed at Nawaf's place. Nawaf said he was awakened in the early hours by Hani walking around the apartment, breathing heavily, and repeating to himself, 45. 45. 45. Now, he wasn't talking about the caliber pistol he was going to kill me with. Nor was he talking about his IQ. It turns out that 45 on 90 is what you have to clear on the test to pass the course. And he kept repeating, "Dr. Cusack will fail me. Dr. Cusack will fail me." As Dr. Amiot says, we don't fail you fail yourselves. But that's beside the point. But he called me, he found out that he had passed, went out and got drunk again. I could have sworn that story had a happy ending, I'm sorry. Last but certainly not least is Wei Sang. Sang is another one who was so over the top about school and work, he's frazzled all the time. He was very worried about the design project presentations because he had secured a job with Shell, and Mike Williams of Shell was going to be in the room where the presentations were being made. You should have relaxed, Sang. You did fine. It's not like you swore or said we adjusted the flow rate till the thing turned blue. After seeing some of those presentations, I'm surprised Mike didn't offer you a raise. Rumor has it that Pac is Sang's dad. Which, as far as I know, is unfounded. But people like to talk. And people like to talk to Sang in a fake Chinese accent, which is always... That's always cool. Although Sang does encourage some stereotypes, after Darren Ring's ceremony, Sang said, "Dr. Cusack, my cell phone's not working. How lost is an Asian person without a cell phone?" Pretty lost, Sang. As I said, Sang is always stressed. He vehemently hates the unit ops labs and the associated lab reports. Sorry, Gianfranco. I don't think the class has gone through a single lab without Sang reminding him several times that he doesn't want to be there. He's fed up and he's unhappy. Well, Sang, if those were the criteria for being there, Devin would be by himself in most classes. Staring up at an empty lectern. Look, I've run long. Thank you for your forbearance and have a good night.
Are we still taping this shit or what? Who owns this? Who owns this video cam?
Pause it for, I guess,